body pull progression for your 1x20 program is going to start with a single arm bent over dumbbell row. Now, a lot of times a bent over dumbbell row would be supported. You put the other hand on a bench, on a weight rack, something like that. For this, because we are, one, you don't have a ton of weight with the dumbbell, and two, we want to introduce some stability in your program as much as we can. That's going to help with the low back, hips, all that good stuff, knees. So what we're going to do is opposite hand's just going to go on your chest. We're going to go bent over position, and we're just going to row. Wrist to rib cage. Again, as many as you can. You get to a moderate weight, or you get to rep 20, you're going to feel that torque on the body pretty quickly. So that's your 1x20 version. Your 1x15 version is going to be an inverted row. So just like we did with the push-up, same idea. Progression is going lower and lower to the floor. Make sure you get all the way to your chest every single time. And I would hope I don't have to say this, make sure you pull from behind your vertical stance. Don't set up facing what for me right now would be the wall, so you're pulling that bar off the rack. Don't do that. But basically the exact opposite of the push-up, straight body, pull to your nipple line. On all of these, the shoulder needs to actually come back. If at any point you're doing this and the shoulder's forward, you're done. This isn't a good rep. And when technical failure breaks down on any of these, the set's over. Don't grind through crappy reps. And another thing I might not have mentioned before is once your initial set ends and you can't do anymore, you're done. So don't do 10 on the 1x20 version, set it down, take a break, and then crank out 5 more, with the exception of what I mentioned before with if you're trying to even out your sides. But in general, don't do that, because eventually you could go up and up and up and up and up and wait, and eventually you're doing 20 sets of 1 instead of 1 set of 20. We don't want that. That gets messy, it gets ugly. You don't want all that in your sets, and it becomes way more strenuous than it's meant to be. So that's your 1x15 version. I think it's 1x15 version. Your 1x10 version, I needed something we could make relatively heavy. So what we're going to do is what's called a meadow row. So you just got one end of your barbell loaded. You can load up, you have available to you a lot of weight to load up. So this is what we're going to use. You're in a staggered stance. Now I don't care if you support yourself here. You don't have to. You may not need to, but load this up. It's just against a wall, or you can put it against your rack, especially to save your drywall in your garage. Grab the end of the barbell, and same thing, we're just going to row. So when I'm at the top, my thumb is actually grazing my ribs. People set up all kinds of weird ways with this one. It's still just a standard row. It's just here. But get a good bent over position. If you're doing this, and we're getting a lot more trap, we don't want all that. So set up, bent over, and pull. So that's your 1x10 version. I don't think I said this in the push video, but I wanted to make sure you understand it. You're not doing all 3 of these in one workout. You're doing the 1x20 version until it stops getting better. Then you go to the 1x15 version. Then you go to the 1x10 version of that individual exercise. They all progress independent of one another. So you may be on your 1x20 version of your lower body push for 6 months, and you're already finishing with your 1x10 version of another category. And if that happens, just tell me. If any of these don't work, just shoot me a message and we'll get it taken care of. And we'll come up with something different. I think that's it for upper body pull.